Welcome to this Executive Explainer. If you're a C-suite executive or an IT director tasked with protecting critical digital assets in the UAE right now, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're taking a highly focused, no-nonsense look at how to navigate the rapidly evolving 2026 cybersecurity landscape in Abu Dhabi.
We're going to give you the bottom line up front. Here is exactly what we're covering: the expanding attack surface, the 2026 vendor landscape, the compliance mandates you literally cannot ignore, future cyber trends to watch, and finally, exactly how to choose the right security partner for your tech stack.
All right, Part 1, the expanding attack surface. Let's talk about why enterprise-grade security in Abu Dhabi has moved from a nice-to-have to absolutely mission-critical.
Trust is everything. As Abu Dhabi drives forward with Vision 2030, heavily pushing into cloud adoption, smart cities, and AI-powered public services, the digital attack surface has, well, it's absolutely exploded. And the core currency of all this digital transformation, it's trust. If you compromise the data, you instantly compromise that trust.
Because of this massive digital expansion, cyber attacks in the UAE are growing incredibly sophisticated. So, if your organization is a financial institution, a government agency, an energy provider, or maybe you process healthcare data or run a SaaS platform managing sensitive personal information, you're a prime target. Operating in any of these rapidly expanding sectors puts you right on the front line of targeted attacks for 2025 and 2026.
And you know, the government is keenly aware of this threat. The UAE Cybersecurity Council has drawn a hard line, issuing mandates that require proactive risk management, SOC implementations, and strict regulatory compliance. The days of just throwing up a firewall and hoping for the best, those are completely over. The baseline for security has been raised, and mere reactive measures just won't cut it anymore.
Which brings us to Section 2, the 2026 vendor landscape. So who can you actually trust to help you deliver on these new mandates?
What's really fascinating about the top-ranked vendors for 2026 is how clearly the guide maps specific business needs to the exact vendor best suited for the job. For instance, if you need advanced R&D for national defense, they highlight Dark Matter Group. Want AI-enhanced threat detection? Paladion, which is now part of Atos, is your go-to. CPX is flagged for UAE government regulatory alignment, and Paramount Systems is great for data forensics. But the guide makes a really crucial distinction in how these services are delivered, specifically highlighting the difference between managed services and independent architecture.
To make this actually actionable for you, we need to contrast an independent, architecture-first approach against a traditional managed security service, or MSSP model. MSSPs, like Help AG, are fantastic for massive enterprises that just need that continuous 24/7 monitoring, but don't want to build it in-house. On the flip side, you have independent architecture, with Atlant Security highlighted as the prime example. This approach is completely vendor agnostic. It's for companies that need audit readiness and real control hardening. Essentially, it means they fix the foundation of your network instead of just managing the alerts that pop up when things break.
Want a metric that proves why fixing that foundation actually matters? 98%. That is the staggering compliance level a Dubai-based payment processor hit in just 1 year using Atlant Security's architecture-first approach. They went from missing 80% of their controls to 98% compliance. And the craziest part? They did this without being pushed to buy a single new specific software product.
That brings us to the core definition of vendor-agnostic expertise. It means designing and auditing security architecture based purely on your custom needs and open-source principles, completely free from any software commission bias. As a decision maker, this is absolutely vital. Independent expertise focuses on building real structural solutions before ever asking you to drop a fortune on shiny new software tools.
Let's move to Section 3, the compliance mandate. We need to look at the incredibly strict regulatory environment driving all of this. Depending on what your business actually does, you're likely dealing with a massive web of frameworks. Locally, you've got standards like NISA and the Abu Dhabi Digital Authority Guidelines. Globally, you might be wrangling PCI DSS for payment data, HIPAA if you handle health data in UAE trials, or GDPR if you touch any EU data. It's a heavy lift, and getting it wrong is not an option. Which brings us to Section 4, Future Cyber Trends. Because here's the reality check. Compliance, that is just the baseline.
To stay ahead, you have to anticipate where Abu Dhabi's infrastructure is heading next. Looking toward 2026, we are going to see mandatory red team versus blue team readiness drills, basically simulated cyber combat to really test your defenses. We'll see cloud-native threat modeling and a huge push towards zero-trust architectures, where systems default to never trust, always verify. Plus, cybersecurity due diligence is going to become a totally standard, integrated part of every merger and acquisition. The takeaway here? Continuous auditing and proactive risk modeling are about to be the standard operational requirement across the UAE.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, choosing the right partner. With these mandates and future trends coming at you fast, how do you actually pick the right firm from this 2026 guide?
The guide gives us a really practical 6-step checklist. First, verify they have 5 to 10 years of experience specifically in your vertical, along with deep regulatory knowledge of standards like NERSA and ISO. Next, and this is big, ensure tool independence. You want actual solutions, not just software pitches. Validate their specific audit expertise, and always demand custom architecture built for your exact tech stack, whether you're on AWS, Azure, or hybrid. Finally, check those reference clients. Following this checklist means you're partnering with experts who build invisible architecture that stops attacks before they happen, rather than someone just trying to sell you another alert dashboard.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Before you sign off on your next vendor contract, ask yourself and your IT team, are you settling for checkbox compliance or are you demanding real security? Are you genuinely securing your digital assets from the ground up or just trying to tick a regulatory box? The path you choose today is going to define your operational resilience in Abu Dhabi's digital future. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer, and good luck building those rock-solid foundations.